Today, CNN is discussing whether promiscuity is genetic. And no, it's not genetic. I mean, sex might be genetic in that in the genes are programmed, whether it's a boy or girl. You don't have those organs that will secrete those hormones, and a person will have a feeling and some thoughts that would be construed as sexual in nature. And depending on one's religious, socio-economic, cultural position, it's going to play out differently. First might wait until marriage, at a time after they finish an education and adult and ready to be responsible and so on. Others going to start nothing wrong as soon as they feel that how or they start to develop that way and all in between. But as you know, genetics are determinant of certain of our physical characteristics like our height or eye color or hair or skin or race. So many different things. The whole function, I guess, comes from the genetic code from our parents and all that. And so, um, although God has placed that sexual component in our personalities, aberrations are not necessarily conclusive that it's because of the genetic something. This is an aberration. This is something that one has planned and thought of and engaged in. Um, God intended that man should have just one wife, one husband. But we live in an environment now where um, problems cause people to have to end a marriage. God had warned that nobody should, cause marriages to fail because He put them together, and you shouldn't, try to divide them. You find governments in many places are also in the business of interfering in people's marital relations or preventing them, and then they want to call people who are they're affecting immoral, and they want to charge them with prostitution. They want to charge them with a whole variety of things. But as in Jesus' day, when those religious men brought the lady caught in the act of adultery, Jesus did not castigate the woman. He went down and wrote all of their problems. And when they each saw their problems, they left. And so he said, "Here, don't you have any accuser? Well, I don't accuse you also. Go on and sin no more." So that governments need to be careful what they're doing, because they could, look, they will charge me with prostitution. They'll charge you with prostitution. They'll charge you with whatever sexual perversion you're in. But when they create it, and you see, the courts of the various states and of nations generally will not, you know, um, convict that state or that nation. Now and then they do it in petty matters, but anything serious, they don't worry with it because they all are in the same deal. But you see, I know that God judges nations and states, so that when they cause people to have to go into these various deviant things, then He is judging, and He has a book or a computer, and He's writing down um, the level of corruption, so that when it becomes extraordinary, He just get rid of them and get a new nation to come on to and do the show. And this is the history of civilizations. Various empires coming and going because they end up feeling that they're more powerful and more important than God. So that basically, and in conclusion, the sexual component of our personalities is just as if, like the eyes and hair and color and height and all that, it's genetic. But promiscuity is a choice in which, for whatever reasons, one has multiple partners. And since God is the one who has said what is sin, and multiple partners is one of the things, you know, unmarried people having sex is fornication. Married people having multiple partners or sex outside the committed relationship is fornication, is adultery. And then you could have a married person with a single person. The single person is doing fornication. The married person is doing adultery. And since He says that thou shalt not commit adultery, or thou shalt not be promiscuous, or thou shalt not commit fornication, then I'm sure he's not going to charge you with something that you have no control over, because you don't have no control over your genes. You don't have no control over your height, except you use some steroids and stretch your bones and whatever, and grow tall to play basketball. Or you want to play on the football team and you get a big arse so you could slam people down with it and so on. Um, he doesn't make that kind of mistake. And Satan in heaven, Lucifer, there was no reason for sin, but he just on his own went off and did things and caused this schism and the big problem in the world today. So God, we can't blame him saying that he's stupid and he made us to be promiscuous. No, he made us to be moral and to do the right thing. But sometimes we brought up in sin and shaped in iniquity, and we do things that we see others doing, and they're wrong, and therefore that's how it goes. So this discussion really goes beyond genetics. It involves theology, religion, and a whole gamut of other disciplines. So no, there's no genetic explanation for promiscuity. It is a decision. It is led by Satan. Of course, innocent people who want to follow the Lord and do the right thing could be forced into the situation because of actions of the government and others. But when it comes to folks creating a situation where one falls into promiscuity, then the ones who are causing it, they're the ones that I think going to be responsible for those sins that the person has committed. So you better be careful how you causing people to have problems, because you're going to be the one that's going to not only be responsible for your problems, but the problems that they have also encountered.